Hi, my name is Frank. It's Friday, time to kick back, relax, talk music. I thought it'd be fun to try something a bit different today, and that is ranking the top 5 Mötley Crüe records. Okay, before we get into this, a couple of ground rules. These are my top 5 Mötley Crüe records. You may disagree, and that's totally okay. After you watch this video, let me know in the comments below what are your top 5 Mötley Crüe records, because your ranking is probably very different from mine. Number 5 on my list is Mötley Crüe's 1989 album, Dr. Feelgood. I have a feeling this album is going to be the top of many people's lists, and for me, I think it's good. I think it's okay, but it's just not as good as their previous records. And this came out, I was 16 years old. I'd been a Mötley Crüe fan since I was like 11 or 12 years old. And this album just never sat right with me. It lacked some of the, what's the word for it? Maybe some of the charm the previous records had. Prior to Dr. Feelgood, Mötley Crüe was kind of my band and the band for me and my friends. And after this, they became this huge top 10 act. And all of a sudden, Mötley Crüe was everyone's band. Everyone loved Crue off the backs of tracks like Dr. Feelgood, the title track, Kickstart My Heart, Without You, right? This album propelled Mötley Crüe to the stratosphere. That said, there is a lot of filler on here, again, in my opinion. Tracks like Rattlesnake Shake, She Goes Down, Time for Change. I don't like that track at all. Sticky Sweet. Filler, if you ask me. Other tracks I do like, though, Don't Go Away Mad. Those, I like that one. Same old situation. It's been a little overplayed. I never need to hear Kickstart My Heart again, or I never need to hear Dr. Feelgood again. It's for those reasons that I rank this album at number 5. Coming up at number 4, 1985's Theater of Pain. Now, I know a lot of people don't really like this album, and may be surprised to see I'm ranking it higher than Dr. Feelgood. And I'll get to why in a second. But I think the reason why a lot of people don't like this is it was a huge departure for Mötley Crüe. And even I clearly remember that when this album came out. I was 12 years old in 1985. I got into Mötley Crüe. The previous year was Shout at the Devil. And this was a radical departure from Shout at the Devil, right? All of a sudden they're wearing pink and they're wearing... I mean, it was just a huge image change, right? A lot more makeup. The hair was more puffed out. This pink on the album cover. But there are some outstanding tracks on here. A lot of underrated tracks, if you ask me. Side note, it always bothered me that the track listing was out of order on the back of the jacket. Regardless, I mean, there's a lot of hidden gems on here, I think, like City Boy Blues, Fight for Your Rights, Louder Than Hell, a great track, and it was really good to see Mötley Crüe starting to play that again in the 2000s. What else was on here? Tonight We Need a Lover, Use It or Lose It. I love all those tracks. Home Sweet Home, of course, was the big one on here, in addition to Smokin' in the Boys Room. Smokin' in the Boys Room was a big departure for the band, but in many respects, I think it really helped them out on here. They didn't really have an obvious hit on here besides Home Sweet Home, so Smokin' in the Boys Room kind of saved them. They had a funny / quirky kind of video, and it got them on the music shows and got them back in the charts. So, number 4 on my list, Theater of Pain. Number 3, 1987. I was in high school at this point when I first heard Girls, 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 and this album blew my mind when I heard it. I mean, to this day, I think it really stands up. And yes, tracks like Wild Side and Girls, Girls, Girls have been, in many ways, overplayed. But at the time, those songs were so unique. Like, this album starts off with Wild Side. The lyrics at the time were really cutting edge, and it spoke of this world that was so foreign to me, of gangs and fights and cops. And I was just like, oh my God, this Mötley Crüe world is awesome. But in terms of the song structure, it was just so different. That does not follow the verse, chorus, guitar solo, chorus out formula. It kind of broke that mold. And so did the second single, Girls, Girls, Girls. It's a bit different, right? It doesn't follow that traditional song structure. But there are other good tracks on here, despite the fact that many of the band members, most notably Nikki Sixx, was blasted out of his mind during this era. I mean, I dig Dancing on Glass. Of course, All in the Name of, Something for Nothing. Even You're All I Need, 5 Years Dead. I mean, yes, like every Mötley Crüe album, there are filler tracks on here. Bad Boy Boogie, Nona. Jailhouse Rock, yeah, okay, it's not all pure gold, but it is good enough to hit number 3 on my ranking of the Crue records. Number 2, I absolutely loved this record, and I continue to love it to this day. This is the 1981 debut from the Crue, Too Fast for Love. And if you haven't heard this album, it's so different from the later stuff. It's raw. The songs are very simple. Vince's voice sounds different. The band, in many respects, sounds like kids. Like, listen to the studio version of Too Fast for Love, and the background vocals sound like it's sung by like a bunch of 15-year-olds or something, which isn't too far off the mark. I think Tommy Lee was like 18 or 19 when this was recorded. Anyway, this is a stone cold classic. So many great tracks on here. Live Wire, Public Enemy #1, Piece of Your Action, the title track. I mean, I just can't say enough about this. It's sort of the perfect mixture of rock, punk rock, and power pop set to vinyl. Number 1 on my ranking of Motley's top 5 records is 1983's Shout at the Devil. When I first heard this album, I was in grade 6, and no exaggeration, this album changed my life in many respects. It helped form my musical tastes, and it opened this door to this world I wasn't familiar with at all. Like on Girls, 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 they sang about drugs and cops and whatever else. But on this album, it was that times 10. And it was everything about this packaging as well, from the album cover with the pentagram there to the back where it warns about, what was that warning? Yeah, it says, caution, this record may contain backwards messages. It's got the pentagram there as well. It's got the gatefold with the Crue looking larger than life and from a different planet. And as I say, it was so influential on me at the time, from the opening, the spoken word opening of In the Beginning into Shout the Devil, Looks Like Kill, Bastard, Knock 'Em Dead Kid. I mean, I love almost all the tracks on here. I could always take or leave God Bless the Children of the Beast, which was Mick Mars' instrumental. I thought it was kind of filler. I never really cared for their cover of the Beatles' Helter Skelter either. I'm not sure if that's a popular or unpopular opinion, but I tend to skip that track. But otherwise, man, I love this record. Now, I know I said top 5, but I have to do one honorable mention. That is the 1991 compilation / greatest hits album, Decade of Decadence. I only included on here because there were a few studio tracks which were great, particularly Primal Scream. And at the time when this came out, I was hoping Mötley Crüe would continue in the direction of Primal Scream. If they had with Vince, I thought they would have been phenomenal and really gone to the next level, because I just loved what they were doing with that track. Unfortunately, everything fell apart after that. Vince Neil left. They did the 94 album with John Corabi, which I know many Mötley Crüe fans absolutely love. I thought they really had a missed opportunity. Could have taken what they started on here and gone to the next level. Whether they could, who knows? That's something we will never find out. But this definitely makes an honorable mention on my top list of Mötley Crüe records. All right, 33 or something different in today's video. What are your top 5 Crüe records? Let me know in the comments below. If you dug this video, I would appreciate a quick thumbs up. Have a great rest of the weekend. Until next time, keep on spinning.